The endless crawl of brake lights, the gut punch from another gas station receipt, the slow circling hunt for a parking spot that feels like a second job. For years, that was my reality. My car was costing me hundreds of dollars a month in fuel, insurance, and just this constant low-grade anxiety. So I decided to try something different. For the next 30 days, I'm ditching my car altogether for this, an e-bike. I wanted to see if I could save money, reclaim some time in my day, and reduce my stress. And what I learned completely surprised me. My car had stopped being just a means of transportation and started feeling like a burden. It's not just the obvious costs either. It's all the little things. The slow bleed from my bank account for insurance I hoped I'd never use. The price of gas that only ever seems to go up. That vague, ominous sound the engine started making that I was actively choosing to ignore. It just felt so inefficient. Driving a 4,000-pound machine a few miles to grab coffee started to feel completely absurd. So I committed. 30 days, no car, no excuses. I picked up a mid-range commuter e-bike. Nothing crazy, but something solid with good battery life. And the first thing I did wasn't some glorious first ride. It was all practical stuff. I got a heavy-duty lock, a set of pannier bags for the back, because groceries are still a thing, and some seriously bright front and rear lights for safety. The rules were simple. The bike had to handle everything. My daily commute, grocery runs, meeting up with friends, all of it. Rain or shine, motivated or exhausted. I put the car keys in a drawer, and for the first time in my adult life, I was willingly car-free. I honestly wasn't sure if I'd even make it a week. The first few days were amazing. There's this unique joy you get from gliding past a line of stopped traffic, with the electric assist making hills feel like nothing. My morning commute, which usually had at least 15 minutes of gridlock, was suddenly transformed. I was outside, getting some light exercise, and I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't even realized I was missing. The trip to work became a part of my day to enjoy, not just a stressful thing to get through. But the honeymoon phase came to a screeching halt on my first weekly grocery run. This was the first real test. I'm standing there outside the store, looking at a full cart of food, and then looking at my bike, which suddenly seemed very, very small. It was a real-life puzzle. How do you get milk, eggs, veggies, and a comically large bag of dog food home on 2 wheels? The pannier bags became my best friends. I had to get strategic, balancing the weight just right. Heavy stuff on the bottom, crushable things on top, and a backpack for the overflow. It's not as simple as just tossing bags into a trunk. It takes some planning. I couldn't do those huge, impulsive shopping trips anymore. I had to think about every item. And while some heavy-duty cargo e-bikes can haul incredible amounts, my little commuter bike has its limits, so I had to be smart about it. Then came the rain. Not a light sprinkle, but a full-on, sideways downpour on my way home from work. I was exposed. My waterproof jacket turned out to be not so waterproof. I got home soaked, freezing, and seriously questioning my life choices. It was a brutal reminder that a bike offers zero protection from the weather. That night, I ordered a proper heavy-duty rain poncho and waterproof pants. Lesson learned. My daily schedule had to change as well. I started leaving a little earlier, not because the bike was slower, in the city it was often faster, but to factor in preparation time, checking the tire pressure, ensuring my lights were charged, and getting the right gear on. The commute was no longer something I just did, it was an active part of my day. By week 2, the novelty started to fade, and the reality of the e-bike life really settled in. Even with pedal assist, you're still working. There were days I just felt tired. My legs would feel heavy, and on cold mornings, the thought of getting on the bike felt like a genuine chore. But the biggest challenge wasn't the effort. It was safety, or more accurately, that feeling of being unsafe. My city has decent bike lanes for the most part, but there are always gaps where you're forced out into the road with cars, and that's when the stress hits you. I had a few close calls. A car pulling out without looking, a driver getting way too aggressive trying to squeeze past me. Someone once said that Friday evenings are the worst time to be on the road, with everyone rushing home, and I can now confirm that is 100% true. You feel incredibly vulnerable. You have to be on high alert all the time, scanning, listening, trying to predict what a 2-ton vehicle is going to do next. In those moments, it was anything but relaxing. There were social hurdles too. Meeting friends for dinner meant showing up a bit sweaty or windswept. I couldn't offer anyone a ride. I had to politely decline helping a friend move a small piece of furniture. They're little things, but they throw the sheer convenience of a car into sharp relief. The bike is fantastic for getting me places, but for helping others or handling big, spontaneous tasks, it's a no-go. That's when the limitations hit me. An e-bike isn't a drop-in replacement for a car in every situation. It's a master of a specific job, short to medium-distance city travel. However, for trips with multiple people, large cargo hauls, or in terrible weather, the car is still king. I was learning it's not about which one is better, but what each one is best for. Around day 20, I sat down to run the numbers, and this is where the whole experiment just blew me away. First, the money. This was the most dramatic change. My car insurance costs around $130 per month. I was spending close to $200 a month on gas. Throw in an oil change or a minor repair, and my car was easily costing me over $350 every single month to exist. The e-bike? I looked it up, and it cost pennies to charge. Over the entire 30 days, I spent less than $5 on fuel for my bike. The savings were just staggering. It turns out that e-bike owners can save thousands of dollars a year on gas, maintenance, and insurance. Next up, my schedule. This is the part that surprised me the most. I thought I'd lose time. But for my 5-mile commute through the city, the e-bike was consistently faster. I completely skipped the traffic jams, and that 10-minute hunt for a parking spot every morning, gone. A 20-mile trip across town would take longer, but for the daily city grind, I was getting time back. And finally, maybe the most important thing, my stress. That knot of anxiety I'd get sitting in traffic was just gone. The frustration of being stuck behind a double-parked truck vanished. A different kind of focus replaced it. You have to be aware on a bike. But my overall mental health felt so much better. The commute became my buffer between work and home, a little window of fresh air and light exercise that helped me decompress. People say bike commuting makes you happier than driving, and I was feeling it firsthand. The money I saved was substantial, and the impact on my time and stress was unexpected. But that's just my experience in my city. I'm curious to hear from you. Have you ever tried to replace your car for even a week? What's the biggest thing holding you back? Is it the weather, carrying stuff, safety, or something else? Please let me know in the comments. And if you found this experiment interesting and want to see more real-world tests like it, please think about subscribing. It helps the channel out a ton. So, after 30 days on 2 wheels, here's the big question. Is the e-bike a real car replacement? And am I selling my car? The answer is yes and no. For about 80% of what I do in a given week, my commute, my grocery runs, meeting friends locally, the e-bike isn't just a replacement. It's honestly better. It's cheaper. It's often faster, and it's way more enjoyable. It has fundamentally changed how I get around every day. But for that other 20%, a car is still necessary for the life I want to live. I can't take the e-bike on a weekend camping trip. I can't use it to pick up 3 friends from the airport. And on days with torrential rain or snow, the safety and comfort of a car just can't be beat. This experiment showed me that the best solution for a lot of us probably isn't ditching the vehicle entirely. It's adopting a hybrid approach, using the e-bike for almost everything, and saving the car for the big specific trips. So no, I'm not selling my car tomorrow. However, my relationship with it has been permanently changed. It's no longer my default. It's been demoted from a daily necessity to a specialty tool. Now, I've to justify using the car, whereas before I would have had to justify not using it. Driving it for a short solo trip feels incredibly wasteful now. This 30-day challenge was never really about the e-bike versus the car. It was about questioning a massive part of my life that I'd always taken for granted. It forced me to be more deliberate about my travel, to connect with my neighborhood and my city on a different level. I feel healthier, I've saved a significant amount of money, and I've a newfound appreciation for simply moving through the world under my power, with a little electric boost. Ditching my car for 30 days didn't solve all my problems, but it opened my eyes to a cheaper, healthier, and honestly, a happier way to live my day-to-day life. And that's a discovery that was worth every single pedal stroke.